Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Popcorn Gallery. We are your hosts, Zach and
I'm Jackson.
And we are going to be talking about some recent movies and video games who are absolutely astonishing the world right now. Can you please explain a little bit more, Jackson?
So, Popcorn Gallery, what we do here is we talk about recent and upcoming movies, video games, TV shows, and stuff like that. Our first topic today is a very recent story about a very popular video game known as Fortnite. Received a new update recently. But before me and Zach tell you about it, let's see what the public thinks.
Have you played the new Fortnite season yet?
Yes. I saw it on TikTok. Figured I'd give it a shot.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yep, I have.
Are there any other games you would play rather than Fortnite?
Call of Duty.
I have better things to do.
Do you think the old map brings back nostalgia?
Definitely.
I think that's a good statement for pretty much any old map. Old maps always bring back old thoughts and old feelings. Nostalgia, sure.
How long have you been playing it? What was the first season you ever played in Fortnite?
Season 1.
What makes you like Fortnite so much?
That I can play with my friends, and it's non-violent enough that my daughter can watch me play, and it doesn't affect her.
Because I want to get better and catch more dubs.
After December 3rd, will you continue to play?
Maybe. I don't know. Depends on what they bring.
All right.
It's not fun anymore. I just want the old map.
You're right.
Good opinions. But coming this weekend, Portville Drama Club presents The Scandalous Scheme at the Sweet Shop. Tickets are available for November 17th and the 18th, 7 p.m. on Friday and 2 or 7 p.m. on Saturday. We hope to see you there.
So with that public opinion, we did see a lot of yeses, we saw a lot of no's. Friend Liam said he has a life and he has stuff going on, but you know, me and Zach, we don't. So what's your opinion on the new Fortnite update?
I think it's great. I think it's great for Epic. I think it's great for the business, great for the players. I think it's cool that they're doing this, bring back the OG map for those OG players who don't really like the new Fortnite because it's not like the same anymore. And it brought back nostalgia, which, I mean, is great. It's just great for the players, great for the community. I think it's great for the business as well. What do you think?
I think it's a very smart decision, both for the Fortnite community and for the business side of things, because for the community, a very big game back in 2017, 2018. Almost everyone played it, I'd say, under the age of 20, I'd say. A lot of people played it, very popular. And a lot of people stopped playing after, because it just got boring after a while. And many people haven't returned to it until the new update came out because of the new map. So very smart, because if you're a live service game like Fortnite is, and you rely on cosmetic sales and not sales of the game because the game itself is free, then you always need a stable and high player count to keep that revenue high. I heard it was 48 million people playing.
Yeah.
And if half of those people, 24 million, bought a $10, $20 skin, that's $200 million.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Dollars right there. So that's pretty good revenue for a video game. And it's pretty smart both for the community and for the business side of things.
100% agree. I think they should do more things like this. They should take off this. They should see 50 million people are playing right now, and they should be like, oh, we should do this more often. We will make more money. It would be better for the business, and it would also be better for the community because they like this sort of stuff. You can see it by the 50 million people playing. And, it benefits everyone. It benefits both worlds. It benefits the people. It benefits the business. It's great. I think if they maybe add a mode, where you can go back to OG Fortnite, or maybe bring back Chapter 2, because I think a lot of people started playing Chapter 2 as well. But I think it's great for the business, for the players. What do you think?
I think if they want to continue with this, with keeping the OG map, and I think what they could do is, maybe take something from, other Battle Royale games, because I know Warzone has multiple maps, Verdansk and Rebirth Island. I don't play Warzone that much, so apologies if I got something wrong there. But I do think that having both maps would be great, because it's not just the old map, it's not just the new map. You can switch between both if you get bored of one, and then you can just switch to the other. So I feel like it would keep the replay value same, and I think it'd keep the player count high.
100% agree. I think, in my opinion, Fortnite is it's not the same as it used to be, you know. I used to play back in the OG days, 2017, 2018. It's not the complete same as the OG map, you know, but I think it is very much close to the OG map, which is great because like even like when I dropped down first day, I dropped Salty Springs. Where did you drop?
I dropped Pleasant Park.
Very good drop. But I got that nostalgia, you know, like I dropped out of the bus and I was like, it's the same, you know, like I remember this map, I remember this, I remember that, I remember this. How much nostalgia did you get when you dropped out?
I had a lot. I haven't played Fortnite since, like, I've come back to it for like a couple days here and there, but like I haven't like played it like thoroughly since like season 7 or season 6. So I think like coming back, I was like, this is nice. This is the good old days, you know. Exactly.
That is enough for the video game news, though. What big movie just released, Jackson?
A really big movie came out a couple weeks ago, Five Nights at Freddy's. But instead of talking about the movie all that much, we're going to talk about a recent announcement of a sequel, which is pretty big. What do you think, Zach?
I think them announcing a sequel already is great for the business, for the people. They're already hyped. They're already psyched. They're ready to go. Them announcing it, it's just like the people are already ready. They're excited because they're like, this first movie was great, loved it. Now it's coming out again, and they already know it. And they're like, oh, I'm ready. We got the little spoiler at the end of the movie in the credits from Puppet, which is great for the franchise, I think. I think them in general, just making these FNAF movies, how they do with the storyline, with the less horror. What do you think? What do you think of them doing less horror, like a PG-13 movie in the first one? Do you think they're going to stray more towards the horror or the lore?
Well, from what I've seen, one of the biggest complaints about the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie that just came out was the lack of violence and gore, which I can see why, but I can see both sides of the same coin, because Five Nights at Freddy's, it's a horror game. It's about the scares. It's about all that. But there's also a lot of lore in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe, and I think the first movie does a great job establishing the lore and changing it up a little bit, because I feel like if fans came in to the movie and they just saw the same lore they saw in the games, it'd be pretty boring, if you ask me, because you already know the story, you already know how it's going to end. So I think it's actually pretty interesting to switch things up a little bit. But I do believe if they make a sequel, they will continue to go towards that horror direction, because one, it was a pretty big complaint for the first movie that there wasn't as much. But you got to remember, first game had just a guy sitting in an office, shutting doors and looking at cameras. And I think it was pretty hard for the writers to create a feature film based on that. You had to stretch it out a little bit so they can include some of those horror set pieces, you know?
100%. I think the writers of the lore aspect of this movie did great. I think they did a fantastic job of the security guard and making him the main character instead of the animatronics, which we did see the animatronics a lot, but we didn't see them as much as the actual security guard's life, like him getting the job, him almost losing the job, him running into the police officer and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think for the fact how much information that the writers were going off of, I think they did very well, which I think the people also think they did very well, because, I mean, in the first week of the FNAF movie releasing, they made $200 million or $100 million, something like that. It's big money for the release date. And the what was it, 10 million? 10 million starting
The budget
price?
was 10 million.
Budget was 10 million. Very, 10 times the amount of budget they made from the movie in the first week.
Which is just crazy.
Do you think they're going to up the budget for the second one, or do you think they're going to keep it the same?
I do think they'll increase the budget, because, that's how sequels work. Hey, you make more money than you did with the first one, you're going to increase the budget a little bit, get some more cameras in there, get some more robotics and stuff. But, yeah, I do think they're going to increase the budget. And I think because if we're continuing on, there's going to be more animatronics, there's going to be more set pieces, there's going to be just more, when you're going to need more money to do more.
100% agree with you. I think they should really strive towards that more budget. I think it would make the sequel better, which I think people would like it more. And also, a big thing with the first movie that people were kind of confused about, they released it on Peacock with the movie theater release. Do you think people on Peacock were excited that it was free for them and they didn't have to walk into the movie theater and pay? Or do you think it was oh, let's show it to these Peacock viewers first, right? And then the second one, we're not going to release it on Peacock, so everyone has to go into the movie theaters, pay, we make more money, because people already know what they're expecting now. They've already watched the first movie. They've already gotten like a little piece and bits and pieces of the movie, and now they're going to walk into the movie theater and be like, I know this movie's going to be good. I'm actually going to pay this time. But instead, maybe the first time they would have been like, I'm not going to pay for it. But it's on Peacock and I have Peacock, might as well watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But now they have like those little bits and pieces of knowing the movie's going to be good. So now do you think they're going to release it on Peacock again? Or do you think they're going to just keep it in the movie theaters, make more money?
I think why they released it, the first film on Peacock, is because Five Nights at Freddy's, it's not really that big of a thing. Or at least that's what they thought. Because it's kind of like a niche horror game. Like it has its own cult following, but that's about it. But when the movie came out, like I know a bunch of people who watch it on Peacock. Like I think I've heard more people say they watch it on Peacock, which just makes the 100 million opening weekend that much more crazy. Because if you had those people that were watching it on Peacock go to the theaters, that'd be even more money. So I think when they do make the sequel and when it releases, I think it would be a smart decision to not release it on Peacock at all and just straight to theaters.
100%. And them releasing the sequel right after like the movie release date, like a week, maybe a week later, would you say they released it maybe too early, that information, or do you think the movie's going to take like 1 to 2 years to 3 years to like actually produce and release?
I do think it will take maybe 2 years, maybe 2025 release date for the sequel to come out, but it's actually more common than you think for sequels to be announced after a really good like first week. Like it's a lot more common than a lot of people think. Sequels are very often greenlit, like just right after the first movie does good.
And I think if you do that as like a movie director or like a producer, I think that is smart to do, especially if the movie does do well, to announce the sequel right after, because I think just to get the fans hype and ready for the second one and already expect a second one, I think that's good, because now their minds are already in FNAF, because they just watched the movie a week ago. Now they got the sequel. They're going to write it down on their calendars, I think it's very smart for them to do that, and now people are ready to go and ready to watch the second one.
I agree.
But that is all the time we have for today's segment. We are now going to be transferring into commercial break. And right after that commercial break, we're going to have 2 new hosts talking about cartoons and 1 video game. And their names are Blake and Josiah.
Starting in Wellsville in May of 2021, Gracie's Primitives has recently moved to Portville. But don't worry, because we will continue to serve the community by offering affordable and unique decor and gifts. Open Wednesday from 10 to 5, Thursday and Friday from 10 to 8, and Saturday from 10 to 4.
Craving something sweet? La Dolce Vita is a local bakery and cafe that is sure to put a smile on your face, even on your rainiest of days.
La Dolce Vita, bad days end here.
Welcome back to our show. Our 2 previous hosts have sadly died in a horrific accident, but we're back. We're going to be talking about some cartoons some games maybe. But before that, I have a thing to read here. So, coming this weekend, Portville Drama Club presents The Scandalous Scheme at the Sweet Shop. Tickets are available for November 17th and 18th, 7 p.m. on Friday and 2 or 7 p.m. on Saturday. We hope to see you there. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about some cartoons. What do you want to start with?
Let's talk about Futurama.
Futurama's a good one. What about Futurama? Because I haven't personally watched much.
I absolutely love Futurama.
Mhm.
It's a great show, got great humor, slight element of story. Just overall, good show.
Yeah. That's what makes a great show, great cartoon, great anything. I haven't really watched much of Futurama, but I have friends who've seen a lot of it, and they love it.
I definitely recommend it.
Okay. And that is on Hulu, right?
Yes.
I do not have that. Might not be paying for it either, but Futurama, I've seen clips and stuff online, like, of like Zoidberg and like Fry, like just like the main characters.
Zoidberg, I like Zoidberg. He's kind of annoying sometimes, but really funny character overall.
This does tie nicely into the Fortnite they were talking about earlier, because they recently got a Fortnite Futurama collab. It was a bit weird. It was kind of peak, so.
What other cartoons should we talk about?
I think we're forced and required to talk at least a little bit about the Blue Dog itself, Bluey.
Have you watched any episodes of Bluey?
Nope.
I have. I have watched one single episode. Did not like it.
What didn't you like about it?
The lack of logic. It may be a kids show, but still, they could have made it a little more logical with that first episode. A lot of the problems in that first episode, there was easy solutions that were completely avoided.
I don't think I'm going to be watching any of it, but I'm just going to go on a limb and say it's not great. So, sorry to all the Bluey fans in the audience, if there are any. Just haven't watched much of Bluey, sorry. Talk about a cartoon everybody has seen. SpongeBob SquarePants.
I enjoyed SpongeBob quite a bit when I was like, I feel like the last time I watched it was 12. It was a long time ago.
It's kind of sad, honestly. But like, a lot of people don't have like cable TV anymore, and nobody. What's that on? Like Peacock? What's that? Paramount Plus. It's on Paramount Plus.
It's also on
that?
Amazon Prime.
It is? I did not know
Yeah.
that. More people have that, I guess, than Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus just has nothing. But
What do you have to say about SpongeBob?
it's just an overall amazing show. The first 2 seasons were really good, but then the middle seasons were really bad. But then, more recently, not more recently, like 6 years ago, people were saying it's really bad, and then the next season, people say it came back. I've seen some. It's actually pretty good.
I'm gonna have to check out SpongeBob again.
It's definitely worth it. Not the new movie, though. Or Camp Coral. Or the Patrick Star Show. Those suck.
They have a Patrick has his own show.
Yes. It's not good. They gave him his own show. Finally. They did him dirty, though. It's not a good show. But, oh well. They made a new SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. Like, what was that, 2021? 2022?
What would you rate that movie?
From what I've seen, a lot of people don't like it. They say it's just not as good as the other movies, which a 2004 movie was a great movie.
Was that the
That was the
first one? Yeah.
I was supposed to do the end of SpongeBob.
It was?
It was. But it was so popular. But SpongeBob. The second movie was also very excellent. Sponge Out of Water. You've seen it, right?
I believe so.
Good. Everybody should have. But what else is there to say about SpongeBob? We said all we could about it.
Yeah. They do have some pretty interesting characters on that show.
Interesting is an understatement. What's your favorite SpongeBob character?
The guy that is always hurting his leg.
Fred.
Yes.
He's a great character. They gave him his own episode.
Oh.
It's a very good episode.
Interesting.
It's revealed he hurts his leg so much because he wants to go to the hospital because there's a nurse he really likes.
Makes
It's
sense.
just wild to do. But to each their own. And to Fred, it's just constantly destroying his leg. I think we've said out all we could about SpongeBob. What other cartoons have you seen?
I really enjoyed Gravity Falls.
That is an excellent one. What is that, a decade old now?
Believe so, yeah.
Very old. But great story, great characters, great episodes. Overall, amazing watch. I've been thinking about rewatching it, but it's a bit long. Not really, though.
I will rewatch it eventually.
Yeah. It's been a while since it ended. They said see you next summer, but they never did. Kind of like Phineas and Ferb.
That was a sad ending.
Speaking of Phineas and Ferb, you've seen it, right?
I've seen a little bit of it.
How could you not have seen all of it?
I haven't seen all. Well, I've seen a good portion of it. Haven't seen all of it.
What about the movie?
The movie.
The first one.
I used to watch that over and over and
Because it's a great movie.
It was a great movie.
It's an amazing movie. I've not seen it in like 5 years. Have you seen the second movie, the more recent one?
No.
It's okay. It's not what you would expect from those people. You expect them to make great stuff, but the movie's just fine. Definitely not worth a second watch, but I've seen it once. I think that's enough.
What's the movie called?
Candace Against the Universe, I believe.
I think I've heard of it.
It's not that great of a movie, but, you know, can't always make great movies, especially animation. Animation's difficult. Not everything will hit, but what else is there to say about Phineas and Ferb? The songs.
Yeah. I never really paid attention to the songs. There's only one that really stood out to me.
And that is?
Squirrels in My Pants.
That's a great song. I'm more of a fan of the Doofenshmirtz songs. He has a lot of good songs.
I think I've heard one of them.
Only one? Come on.
Well, I might have heard more. I just only remember the one.
That's fair. The writers of the show are so creative. They have like perfect plot every episode of the A and B story. But apparently the story with Perry is the A story, not Phineas and Ferb. It's impressive.
I feel like a lot of people really enjoyed the Perry stories.
Because they're enjoyable.
Yes.
What's there not to love about an agent platypus who stops an evil inventor?
That all he has to do to go undercover is take off his hat.
Yeah. And then he just thinks he's a normal platypus. That's why Doofenshmirtz is the best character. He's funny. That's about it. And the marital problems he has, that's a good gag. His divorce and his wife.
I never really paid attention to that aspect.
It's just like a running joke, mainly. Maybe for the older audience. But
What other cartoons do you enjoy?
It's not Bluey, but I don't know. What else is there? On Disney Channel, there's what? guess they had, what was that one show? I don't remember the name. Oh well. That's all the time we have about talking about cartoons. Come back after this short commercial break. We'll be talking about maybe some games. See you around.
My name is Bethany Schoonover Cruz. I'm a program assistant and the caregiver navigator. So the Caregiver Navigator program, we do give out referrals. So what people do is if they need help finding something, we can help find those services in the area. We can start looking out in the community, seeing what you're eligible for, and call those places to make sure they actually have staffing. Then we call you back and we give you what you need to do and who has staff available. So we are free and can help you find all those different resources in the area.
So we focus on preventable injuries for children. So this could be drowning prevention or bike safety.
Southern Tier Healthcare System is a nonprofit rural health network that works to address the health and wellness needs of Allegheny, Chautauqua, and Cattaraugus counties. Call us at 716-372-0614 to see how we can help you.
Commercial wasn't too boring. No idea what it was about, but we're gonna be switching our topic a bit. We're gonna be talking about some games you like. What games do you like?
I really enjoyed the Zelda series.
It's a great series. What is your favorite game in the series?
Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Good one. Good answer. It's an old one.
It is.
Definitely an old one. Why do you like it so much?
I just really enjoy that while also following the Zelda formula that they normally have in most of their games. They have good retro graphics, but they're really colorful and playful, kind of. I just really liked the game most of all.
That's fair. You know, it kind of invented the Zelda formula, basically. Get
really
3
did.
things, get the Master Sword, get 8 things, or 7 things, rather. But it's a great game. A lot of people would love it. I've played it recently-ish. It's definitely still good to play. It aged extremely well, like every SNES game.
So, I originally played the game on my 3DS for a virtual console that I bought the game myself, and that was, I believe, the first ever video game I bought myself.
And it was $8.
And I was so proud of myself. Anyway, I played through a little bit of the game, kind of got bored, but then later on, I picked it up again when I got my Switch. I absolutely loved it.
That's fair. That's what happens with me in a lot of games. I buy it, play like 2 hours, get bored, then I come back later, and I play through the rest of the game. I love it. But for me, I think my favorite Zelda game had to be Majora's Mask.
That is a fair answer.
It's the only correct answer. There's a lot of great entries in the series, especially like the newer ones, like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. But I think Majora's Mask is the best one. I've recently,
Majora's Mask had good side quests, and I really liked the mask concept, where you could just put on a mask and then become
my favorite parts,
anything. Any of the available races in the whole game you can become just by putting on a mask. Very creative concept.
Switches up the gameplay quite a lot. And that makes it more interesting to play, honestly. But I've been playing through it this month, and I still love it. 100% it again. I told myself I wouldn't, but I'm pretty close to doing it.
What other Zelda games are good?
Tears of the Kingdom came out this year.
I've never played that yet.
You definitely want
to. I so want to. But I think I'm going to play through the Breath of the Wild DLCs once I get the money for them. I'm going to play through those first.
I mean, you don't have to. You don't even have to play Breath of the Wild. It kind of explains the story well enough. But you don't need to play through Breath of the Wild or the DLC. But
I really enjoyed Breath of the Wild, so that's what that's what got me determined to get the DLCs before playing Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like they'll add quite a bit, and with Breath of the Wild itself being good, if I just start from the beginning with the DLCs in there, it'll add so much more to play through.
Play through it on Master Mode. It's a challenge.
All right.
That's what I did before Tears of the Kingdom came out. Great games. DLC is definitely good. I definitely recommend it. But I guess adding Master Mode was cool. And the new-ish dungeon. It's definitely fun.
What is your least favorite Zelda game?
Have I had to have played it? Or can I just hear urban legends about how terrible the game is?
I guess you would have to have played it.
Okay, well, I've played through a tiny bit of Zelda 2. Hated it.
I despised Zelda 2. It gave me a headache trying to play through it, and I've only gone through like the first 8-9 screens, and I was just like, nope.
Not a good game.
No.
Would rather play any other Zelda game.
It did introduce the combination of top-down and side-scroller, but they did a horrible job.
Sounds interesting, but it's not a good idea.
Until the Game Boy Color games, they did a good job with it, but they had it in such a small part of the game.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
That it was just so. It's only in the dungeons, and I just like how the basement level of each dungeon is always side-scroller. And in some of the side-scroller levels, they kind of had little nods to Mario too. That's why I like the Game Boy Color games.
I haven't played through all of them, but Link's Awakening is one of my favorite Zelda games. I'd probably say number 3.
I've played through about half of Oracle of Seasons and a quarter of Link's Awakening.
Play through the rest.
I really enjoyed both of them. I played through a very tiny bit of Oracle of Ages and got very confused and just threw the game away.
That's when you have to go to Zelda Dungeon.
I have beef with the Zelda wiki. It called me poor.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean it calls you poor?
There's a mini game in Link to the Past. It'll get you one of the heart pieces, and it's 30 rupees per playthrough, and I had 900, and the Zelda wiki's like, it could be costly.
If you're poor, that is.
If you're poor. So Zelda wiki called me poor, so.
It's calling you, it was targeting you specifically, of course, obviously. But, 2D games are great, 3D games are great. Obviously, we know what your favorite 2D game is. What about 3D?
My favorite 3D game is probably Ocarina of Time.
That's fair.
It's such a iconic Zelda game.
Still regarded as the best game ever made by many critics. But
Yeah.
it's definitely aged.
I didn't complete the whole thing, but if we're going with aspects of my favorite one that I fully completed, would be Breath of the Wild for my 3D.
That's good.
Because I really enjoyed it. It's got Breath of the Wild's just a beautiful game overall.
Absolutely.
They have great graphics. And first time I ever saw the game, I was mind blown with how great the graphics were.
Definitely. It's a beautiful game.
It's just amazing.
That's about all the time we have for this broadcast. We hope you enjoyed your time watching us talk about random stuff. Yep. Join us on our next broadcast up for discussion, up for debate, discussion. Goodbye. Have a wonderful day.
It's game time, and the Sports Locker has you covered. The Sports Locker has a great selection of Bonnie's gear, featuring name brands like Adidas, Emerson Street, MV Sport, Antigua, and many others. Visit our Players Gear section today or shop us online at sportslocker.biz. We are the area's largest dealer for Bonnie's apparel. Get yourself in the game. Shop Sports Locker today.